You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
And she actually got into the details of her attack. And of course, you guys probably already know that on San Francisco State, they're actually calling Riley Gaines the violent one. When there is all the evidence that those communist students were violent. Nothing is going to happen to them. Now, if I'm the campus police over there at San Francisco State, I'm quitting. Every single officer at San Francisco State should quit because the administration threw them under the bus. Why? Because they were protecting Riley Gaines from the mob.
You've lost control.
Yeah.
You've lost control.
Yeah.
You've got no authority. None.
Yeah. They
Zero.
don't respect you whatsoever.
The inmates are running the asylum
Yeah.
at this point now.
Remember,
Yeah.
San Francisco defunded their police in the summer of love. They defunded the police. They hate you.
The Cash App guy just got stabbed to death in broad daylight in San Francisco. And their lunatic mayor went on talking about, blamed it on Trump.
Everything is Trump's fault, right? Rose, Trump has been out of office for what? About 2 years and 4 months.
Too long.
And everything that goes bad, they want to say, hey, it's actually Trump's fault. But let's go ahead and get into this because we do got the video here.
Low-hanging fruit. That's lazy by leftists. Come on, let's blame Trump. I ain't got an excuse for it. I don't have a good one. Let me just blame Trump. And all the people on the left side will be a TT and a ha-ha and all that. Yeah, Trump, F him. It's his fault. Okay.
Yeah. Riley Gaines details.
I'm about to start screaming, lock them up, is what I'm fixing to start screaming.
Yeah. Riley Gaines details harrowing situation at SFSU. I feared for my life in that moment, and she appeared on Dan Dockett's show on Outkick here. And we're going to listen into this. This is about 2.5 minutes here. She actually details what happened to her.
Jamila Moore, who is the vice president of stupidity, apparently, at San Francisco State. She's the one that came out and said, yeah, our students acted peacefully. It reminds me of the riots where you saw, footage of places burning a couple years ago, and they're like, hey,
it's mostly peaceful.
How infuriating is it to see these comments from these idiots?
Like I mentioned, I'm not going to say that I feared for my life in that moment, yet she's going to call it peaceful.
Right.
They were negotiating ransom if I wanted to make it home safely, and she's going to call it peaceful. We must have totally different definitions of peaceful, because that is not peaceful to me. The protesters who were in the room initially, they had orchestrated a sit-in. And I knew this was going to happen. I knew there was going to be this sit-in. I had gotten word of it before I got there. And I'm totally fine with the sit-in. I'm totally fine if people want to come and express their views. I opened it up for questions at the end, to which I answered all of their questions. We had, there were some individuals I had great dialogue with. That is peaceful protest for the most part. Again, there was some heckling. There was some things that probably could have been avoided, but I'm totally cool with that. But being rushed, being physically and verbally assaulted, that is not peaceful by any means. And I think that's what, truthfully, I think this backfired on the protesters, because this only really increased my social media following. It only increased people's eyes being open to seeing how unhinged these people can be in the disguise of being kind and inclusive again and tolerant. This was not done out of tolerance or love or compassion. It's vengeful is what it is. They were yelling in the hallway, trans rights are under attack. What do? We fight back. That is not peaceful. I don't even know how many times I can say it, but for Jamila Moore to do this and then go to her social media and block me, she felt it necessary. So I couldn't see her post anymore. It's so childish. It's so immature. And I can't fathom how sharing how I felt uncomfortable in a locker room with a male and how the unfair competition piece is wrong is this controversial.
Yeah, so that's Riley Gaines right there with Dan Dockage from Outkick. She feared for her life, man. If you watch that video, man, those Marxist students, that was not peaceful.
She was under attack.
She was under attack. How many police officers she had around her?
She was under physical threat, and it seemed like none of those people really and truly gave a... This is how much the police have lost control. Those protesters didn't really care about the police, if you get right down to it. They didn't respect the police. They were all banging up against the police and everything. And looking at you, police. I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm still of the rule of thumb that if a criminal bangs up against a cop, he ought to better turn around and Mike Tyson that ass. And just, I mean, I'm just being honest. I mean,
yeah,
respect law enforcement or get dealt with the hard way, you know?
Yeah.
And you should be able to send a message to the rest of the crowd right there. Back off, respect authority, respect the police. Yeah, I'm kind of worried about her, to be honest.
Me too.
With her going out the way she is now and doing these, and I understand what she's doing is valuable. It's very valuable, but these people are on her. They're after her now.
Yeah.
You know, they see her as and she's right. Her following has blown up, even more so. And she's going to be a target now. That she's going to have a target on her back. They don't respect anything. I would say this, try to go where mainly you're going to be speaking to a red crowd, because I got to be honest with you. The blue doesn't care what she's got to say. They don't have any respect for her. They're not going to respect her ability to go out there and have free speech and tell her story. They don't care about her story. It's the same thing they did to Tommy Lahren when she was doing the TP USA thing out in New Mexico State. She had to lock herself in.
Spins the narrative. They lie. They're lying about everything that went on over there.
These people are having to be busted out of places that they're speaking, just doing public speaking. They've got the okay to come into these facilities and give these speeches, but these people aren't willing to protect them after they told them that they could come there.
Yep.
I mean, they're not willing to follow the law and make sure that people are not going to come in harm's way. Protesting is one thing. Look, protesting is standing out on the sidewalk with your little sign that you're waving up and down that says, hell no, we won't go, and you're walking around in a circle or some shit. That's protesting. Coming over and hit me in the head with an elbow, nah, that's assault.
Right.
And it's go time. There's a difference.
We got more detail than what was on the clip here. So I guess this is an extension right here. She says, quote, I give my speech. And of course, there's many protesters in the room, but I welcome protesters. I welcome people with different perspectives. That's why I chose to go somewhere like San Francisco. I know a lot of them won't agree with me, but that's who I want to get in front of. That's who I want to change their minds to see from my perspective. So there was a lot of protesters, and it was relatively civil. There was some heckling, but it was good. After the event, almost as soon as it finished, it was as if the floodgates opened and I was rushed. People from outside the classroom rushed in. They flickered the lights off. They stormed the podium, and they were pushing and shoving and hitting. And I was supposed to meet with the head of campus police a half an hour before the event to discuss an exit strategy if this happened. But the police never showed up to meet me.
Wow.
And so I had no idea there was even police in the room. So at this moment, I feared for my life. It's so chilling to know that these people know what these people want to do to you and what they're willing to do to you. At this point, an undercover police officer grabbed me. So this guy was undercover, which I truly didn't want to, which I truly didn't want to follow her at the time because I didn't really believe she was the police. But she was saying, come with me, and I didn't have much of an option. She's pushing me along. We exit the classroom in the hallway to where it was filled with more protesters. I'm talking hundreds. We could not exit the building. We were on the 3rd floor and the stairs were packed. So we had to resort to going to another classroom along the hallway where I was barricaded in for 3 hours. Gaines detailed what happened. In 3 hours, she feared for her life inside a classroom, not knowing if she was going to be able to leave. Quote, in these 3 hours, these protesters, they sat outside. They banged on the walls. They stomped on the floor. They screamed terrible, violent, awful things to both myself and the campus police who were there. Why didn't the campus police actually make a move in? Because I don't understand that.
I hope in this lawsuit she's suing the campus police. I would file a lawsuit against them too. They need to be investigated as to why they weren't doing their job to actually serve and protect. It sounds to me like they were more pro-protest than they were about doing their actual job without their.
She said something next I'm going to read. She said something next here I'm going to read. Where was I at? She says, I missed my flight home because I was stuck in this room. They were negotiating money with the dean of students if I wanted to make it home safely. They claim if I got paid by the university to be there, it's only fair that they get paid if I get to make it home safely. Which, first of all, I didn't get paid by the university to be there. That was a misconception. Now, here's the thing right here. Quote, it just felt like the police weren't doing their job adequately because they were terrified. God. They didn't want to be accused of anything. They didn't want to be assertive in any way that they could make it look like they were anything other than an ally to this community. See, that's the thing, man. If the police actually moved in, you know what the university would have said. The campus police were attacking peaceful protesters.
Yep.
And the police probably knew that right there.
Yeah, the police are sitting back going, do we really have the ability to do our job correctly? Because, yeah, I mean, you number one, isn't that kidnapping? I mean, if you grab somebody, you got them trapped in a room, you're not allowed to let them leave, and you're asking for a ransom? ? That sounds to me like what they're asking. We're asking for a ransom for this person to be allowed to leave with their life. I would sue everybody.
I would
as many people as I could sue. I would sue everybody involved. This is absurd. It truly is. Wow. I gotta recognize the fact that I'm glad that Dan Dockage got out of ESPN. You know, he was with ESPN for years.
Yeah, he re-signed with Outkick, new contract.
Well, he used to actually be a host. He would a guest host of Mike and Mike. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.